So I am happy that though it's a holiday, I have students joining me. Kasi I said last night, if I have no students to join, I'll just record the session. But I was really hoping last night nga daghan ang attendance karon because as what I have said a while ago, kunti lang yung nag-submit sa let's check at saka let's analyze, no, in the other weeks and especially last week. So nag-effort ko og record sa tong session because last week because I wasn't available, may APE ako. Tapos nag-holiday pa nya, karon holiday na po jok, di natakahuman sa tong coverage ana. Okay, I might forget this very important announcement. Please check deliverable 2 of our final project section. So mag-submit na mo dito katong akong gi-advise ninyo for revision for deliverable 1. Kindly update it there. Tapos check the template for the project. Show na lang na ako, no? Ako sa siyang i-search. Check the template for the project if you have it with you now. Tanawag unsay mga requirements sa methodology kasi methodology na ta. So naatoy prototyping dito. And I said kung magamit mo framework, okay lang na sa kuha. And I'm sure it's not all the way that you are going to do drag and drop. You have to do coding. So ang madali lang siguro is it's easy to create interface. So I also do not accept nga all the way na lang yun na siya, no drag and drop. Okay, IT9L. I'll look for the project template. Then I'll share screen after. Sige, so medyo matrabaho itong deliverable 2 and others did not attend during the deliverable 1 presentation last Tuesday. So I hope okay na yan yung nyo, yung project content nyo para you will not be having a problem for the final presentation. Kasi ang worry na ko ana pag abot sa final presentation, dili day na siya acceptable, daghan di ay nang for revision. So gamay, as what I've said, gamay lang man ang time, no, inighuman sa final exam nato, deadline na day na siya sa grado. Okay, so here so methodology, you're going to specify here how did you do your data gathering. Did you conduct interview? Did you do it online through Google Forms? And then your conceptual framework, your IPO, input, process, output. Okay, so what are the inputs of your system? And how are you going to process it? And what are the expected output? So example, yung mga outputs, mga forms, which is a product of the input of the user. Example, kung payroll siya, so ano ba yung magiging input kung gagawa ka ng payroll web application? Okay, so example, yung sa DTR niya, that's your input, loading of DTR. So that's your input. Then your process, so yung mga PHP programs mo na nagdo ng process, and then for the output will be the report. It could be viewing of payslip. Okay, it could be printing of payslip or viewing of any record nga a result of the processing of your input. So IPO pa lang yan, then design prototype. So if you can use mockups.com for the design of your prototype, yung gi-introduce ko sa inyo meetings ago. And then next is the technology. So what are the technologies that you are going to use in the development? So example, kung gagamit mo og framework, gagamit mo og MySQL, gagamit mo og Bootstrap, anything, no, nga you use But if you do not know yet yung mga framework, if you do not know yet yung mga bootstrap, you can just state here kung ano yung ginamit nyo based on our discussion in our class. Okay? So that's methodology. That is the next deliverable. Okay. Now this one for deliverable 2, I will no longer let you present this one. You just have to submit this in the project deliverable or the final project section in our LMS. Kindly check on it, and then there is a post there deliverable 2. So si deliverable 2, so katong introduction ninyo and methodology na siya. Okay? So daghan man kaay mo sa ka-group no, pila ganing mo ka buok, 4 yata no. 3, depende sa pila ba yung ka-grupo, nalimot na ko pila mo ka groups. Pila mo ka groups gani? Pila mo ka members in a group?
3.
3 o kaya marami no, marami. Okay? And then it's fine with me if your final project, ingon man ako ni atong week 1 and even week 2. It's fine with me if your project is small as long as it is compact. Compact meaning small siya pero kompleto yung process. Kasi mag-unsa man ang dako kay kag project pero daghang kulang, daghang error. So hilaw siya. Okay? Okay, what's important here is you will be able to showcase your understanding to our lesson here in PHP. So beginning from, especially katong new enrollees jud, beginning from HTML until databasing. Okay? So that's important to me. So that's why na may framework para maklaro nato unsa man gyud ay himuon ani imong program, imong web application. IPO, input process and output. So any questions with the final project? Kaya lang yan siya class kay gamay lang man ni siya no. Ang akong giingon, as long as it is compact, andun yung kung ano yung dapat kong makita sa project mo. You don't have to have a complex, though I will be very happy if you are going to present to me a very nice full-blown projects. Especially katong nag-framework, I really expect nga nindot jud mo og project. Ha? Nindot mo og outcome. So your final presentation will be on week 9. So that will be very stressful for me kay sa kadaghan kay inyo. So week 9 ang final presentation. Kung kanusa mo na ako gi-schedule, kinahanglan mo attend jud mo kay lisod kaayo magbalik pa og schedule. Sa kadaghan sa kong estudyante, imagine I have 160 students. So maglisod jud ko og kuan kanang naabang og naanay dili mo follow sa schedule. So any volunteer nga mag-una sa week 6, sa week 9 I mean. By the way, maghimo kog GC day nato ha sa ato ang kuan para ni sa presentation para makabalo mo kung kamo nay musulod para dili mo magtag-an kung kabo na mo ang next nga presenter. So maghimo kog GC. So dito lang mo mag-abang kung inyohan ang time to present. Okay? So sa LMS lang na siya nga GC dili sa Facebook. So next week class, that will be your project development week. So i-meet lang tamo ang utro, meet pa man tagbalik sa Thursday no and then exam Friday. Tapos that's week 7. Ano ba ngayon? Week 7 na, di ba? So week 8 next week. So i-meet lang tamo ana just to check kung ano na yung nagawa niyo sa project. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, di tamo disturbohon. Pagka Thursday lang, mag-check lang ko, mag-announce lang ko pagka Thursday ana para sa sequence sa inyong presentation. Okay? And then, again, do not forget nga, though this is a group project, you should have at least one PHP program nga imong gihimo. PHP, take note ha, PHP. So dili ko mo yun nga, ma'am, naaraman ko sa document, ma'am, ako gahimo sa methodology. Naon niya kay ang ato ang subject kay programming man nino, PHP. So where will I get your score for mastery in programming in PHP? So, yan. Just a very minimum requirement. You should contribute to the project development in programming. Any questions? What's that? Walay question? So I think wala, no?
So far.
Okay, none so far. It's clear. So kung clear siya, I hope himuon ninyo inyuhang tawagan ni mga inyong project na ay chat box. Wala po ma'am. Sige. Sige. So I'll now show the sim, and I think nabasa na ninyo ang sim. I'll just open it first before I'm gonna share the sim. Week 7. Week 7 is about MySQL as our backend. I'll just do sharing entire screen. So this is I will show to you this one later after I am discussing the sim. So this is just very basic what I'm going to show kasi ang importante lang naman dyan is you know what to do when you are going to create a program in PHP that includes a database, a backend. So this is just a simple save and search. And in your, let's analyze, it's another like this one, yung sa ranking, if you already have browsed week 7. So ganito lang yung gagawin nyo. Okay. So this is the same. So again, we will make use of MySQL as our database. So since 5.5, MySQL Connect extension is deprecated. So now it is recommended to use the two alternatives. This one, MySQLi and PDO. But for me, I use MySQLi. So kanisha class, you will just have to copy this code here so that you can create your connection to your database, which is MySQL. So ito yung mga parameter niya. So si localhost, si root, your password, and then your database. Okay? So in this case, walang password si root. Even me in my di ko nilagyan ng password. So it's up to you how you configure your SAMP. Okay? So do not forget also that you have to start your MySQL in your SAMP if you're going to create a program in PHP. So ako, kasi Mac yung ginamit ko, my SAMP looks like this one. Okay, so kailangan i-run nyo si MySQL database. Click yung start. So dalawa na yung mag-run, si Apache sa kasi MySQL database. So kung ano yung magiging username and password or the password na lang kasi ang iba root yung ginagamit, ang iba wala, ang iba nagset talaga sila ng password. So depende, kindly check on how you configure your MySQL in your computer. So this is to check if it's your first time to create a program in PHP that is using a database. This is just to check if there is a connection, if you were able to properly create a connection for your database. But if na ano mo na siya, na check mo na okay, there is already a connection. This should not be the, especially dito sa else part, yung successfully connected to database. So, but instead, you are going to, it could be that you are going to bring the user to your main menu or to the user authentication page, or it could be kung kagaya ngayon, nag-test lang tayo. So, you have to bring to a menu, yung sa akin, yung sa menu ng file management. Okay? So, hindi ganito. So, I should not see something like this in your let's analyze na successfully connected to database. So, again, we will just have this one to connect, to check if successful yung connection natin sa ating MySQL. So again, localhost, root, tapos your password, and then the name of your database. Okay? So if you can also follow these codes if you would like to use PDO. But again, in my demo, I am using this. So this one naman, this is how to create a database. So still the same, the name of the server, username, and then the password. Okay. So this is creating the connection and then checking the connection. So if there is a connection, then you have here a code to create a database. So but me, in my demo kanina, yung pinakita ko kanina, I do not create my database in the front end. I create it in MySQL. So let's analyze ninyo na lang, class, create database. Dito na lang yung code sa let's analyze ha. Dito na lang sa front end yung code sa create database para dili ko maglisod o run sa inyong program. Okay? So kanina lang ang code nga inyong gamiton for for your let's analyze. Katong sa ranking, katong naa sa LMS. Wait, where is that? This one. Kani siya. So this is just a revision, an add-on to what I show a while ago, yung sa employee. So ito siya sa rank. Okay? So para di ko maglisod og mamaya, not mamaya, later to check your program, yung create database nyo, wag na doon sa back end, sa front end na lang, yung pinakita ko sa sim. Okay? So this one naman, this is creating table in the, again, in the front end in PHP. So I'm sure you know how to create a table, no? Kay unsa naman mo, third year na ba mo? Second year, second sem. So you have a background in MySQL. So I do not discuss here in details about MySQL because prerequisite of this subject is a knowledge in information management in database. So humana mo CCE 104. Okay? So here, this is the front end code to create a table. So create table and then the fields in your table. Okay? So this is assigned to the variable, PHP variable called SQL. So if connection query with this one, the SQL is equal to true, then the table, there is a message table has been successfully created. So again, this is front-end programming. Then to insert a table also, the same. So if you notice class, paulit-ulit lang dito si si connection string. Yung connection string, paulit-ulit lang. Server, username, password, DB name. So it's better if you're going to create another PHP class for the connection string lang. And then just call it in your program. Okay, mag-include lang mo yung gidemo ko sa week 6, include na nagtudlo ko to kung saan pag gamit og include. So para your codes will not keep on repeating. Yung sa sample program ko mamaya sa Atom, I will show to you how to create a PHP file na pang connection string lang siya and how to call it. So I am talking to those people nga walang background sa PHP MySQL. So ito nga part na to, paulit-ulit lang yan. Mag-save ka, mag-create ka ng table, you have this one, mag-search ka, meron din tong code na to. So kung paulit-ulit lang, better to create a PHP file and then call it. Okay? So this one, SQL, so insert into front end again. So the values are pre-assigned pero sa sample ko mamaya sa Atom, it's through the form. So hindi kagaya dito na naka-set lang. Okay? So yung sa let's analyze nyo, yung front-end programming doon, create table, tsaka create database lang. But yung insert into, it should not be like this one pre-assigned. It should be from the form. Okay? So, new record has been successfully created. So, this one naman, this inserts records into the table, multiple records. But again, this is not a good programming style because values are entered in the front end. But this one naman, the purpose is just to let you give an introduction on how to insert records in PHP. Then after, you just can play around with the concept. So this one, select. So select, as what you know, it is used to retrieve record or records from your database table. So again, ito siya, repeated lang yung connection string. So it's better to use include file for this one. So ang iba lang dito is the your query command. Kasi kanina, mga create table, create database, tsaka insert into. Dito, this is select. So you know this one in your information management CCE104 class. So select ID. So this will generate 1, 2, 3, 3 columns in your result set. So to the number of rows, we do not know how many rows are there in your table. But if we will base it in the previous example, there are 1, 2, 3 rows that will be retrieved. Okay. So this one, this is not using a where clause, and therefore it will generate more than 1 rows. Okay. So the result of this SQL command that is stored here in the result variable. Okay. So that is made possible using query SQL statement. So you have here a condition if the result set is greater than 0, so meaning to say there is a record found, then we have here a loop that will fetch to the associative array. So fetch underscore associative array. So multidimensional, it is a table. So echo, and then this is the label of the column. And then that row ID, this is the field name in your table in your database. First name, field name of the table in your database, and last name. Okay, so this will generate a table, but there is no border in the table, just a table format having ID name, tsaka ID name with first name and last name as the columns. So it will have 2 columns. But then if the number of rows is less than 0, less than equal to 0, then it will echo 0 results or the record is not found. Okay? So actually si Sim, ang ginawa ni Sim, kinumpleto niya yung CRUD, yung create, update, delete, and search. Okay, kinumpleto niya. So meron ding delete dito, no? So you know already in MySQL, the command to delete is delete from. Okay? Tapos here naglagay siya ng where clause, which is the basis in which row in the record should be deleted. So in this case, i-assign na niya na number 3. Okay? So this one naman, this is for update. So update, then the name of the table set, and then the field to be updated, and then here this is the updated value, and then your work clause where to base, which record has to be updated, and then here record updated successfully as an output. Okay, so again there are codes here na repeated, so you just have to use include file. Okay. Now, si sim class, gi-complete na niya, no? Marami siyang sample dito. Oh, hindi ba nasama? Ayan, marami na siyang sample dito si sim. Gi-complete na niya, user authentication. So, meron na siyang dbdemo.sql until session.php. You just can run them, you can try them so that in your let's analyze and even in your project, you can include user authentication before the user can do file management or any transaction to your web application. So you just can run this one into your computer. Okay. So I will not one by one discuss here in the sim kay paulit-ulit lang man to siya, no, sa ano natin, sa previous discussion natin. Okay? So mga href lang naman yan sila. So I will just bring you now to Atom, and so again, if you will create a program in PHP that involves storing your inputs to the database and retrieving your record or records from your database, again, you need your SAMP. Then you have to start MySQL database and Apache server. So, check nyo yung paano nyo giset up yung MySQL nyo, yung username tsaka password. So, kadalasan, others will just use username root, password root. Others would also remove password. So, just kindly check your MySQL setup. So, here I have prepared already a program to show to you so that you can also do it by your own, especially if you do not have yet a background. Yung kagaya kanina, yung nag-ask ako kung sino yung walang background. But for those others who have a background, you can just review. Okay, so I just created a main menu. You can have a better version of this one. So si main HTML, tapos yung CSS ko before yung sa week 2 natin na class, I just make use of the CSS. But actually, yeah, sa main menu ko lang siya ginagamit. And then, I have here si dbconnect.php. So si dbconnect, ito yung gi-mention ko sa sim kanina. I could not zoom it, class. Muna na yung pinakadako nga display in my end. So, yung code na paulit-ulit lang, yung dimension ko kanina, which is creating a connection and checking connection. So, yan, gumawa na lang ako ng PHP file. And then, I have here a PHP file also, in which I just call si dbconnect.php para I will not repeat the codes in creating a connection and then what you call this, and then checking connection. Para di ko na siya gagawin every PHP program. Kasi it would make your program very long if you do not do this one. Okay? Also, I have here a form. So, eto siya si form. Yan. So, itong form na to, it's from this, from this code. So, how that form was created is from this code. But, you know this already kay ato naman siyang gi-lecture in our previous weeks, no? So, we have here two buttons, save record and then clear screen. Okay? So, here naman, if you notice yung form action ko kay PHP self lang, para after I click the button, save record, I will not be given another page but within the page lang siya. Okay? Tapos, I just call here saveemp.php. Okay, so ano ba yung body ni saveemp.php? So, yung pinakita ko kanina, ito siya. Okay? So, yung input ni user from the form for the employee ID, first name, middle name, last name, department ID, tsaka rank code. Okay? So, from the form, it is being assigned to a PHP variable. So, if the user clicks save rec, so I just pasted here yung insert into SQL command. Okay? So, yung sa SIM kanina, yung nilagay niya is yung value talaga, no? Yung John Doe, yung ano nga yun, mga value doon. Smith for the last name. But here in the sample program I created, so this is kung ano yung i-insert niya, it depends kung ano yung i-input ni user from the form. Okay? So, of course, it is from the fields, PMID, PFN, PMN, P last name, PDID, at saka P rank code. So, from here. So, I prepared na lang this one in advance kasi ang daming i-code, no? And it could be baka 2 hours natin, we could not cover until search. Okay? So, notice class, may single quote ako dito because if you are going to go back to the syntax of MySQL, if you are going to insert into, yung sa values, di ba, may single quote doon. Okay? Kasi if you remove this one class, if you remove single quote here, ito siya, ang mangyayari is, pag insert into, mag-error siya. Kasi it doesn't follow dun sa syntax ni MySQL nga dapat may single quote yung data. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Ganito yung doon sa MySQL, di ba? If you remember your information management class, di ba nag-backend tayo doon or kayo, di ba ganito yung code doon eh. Kung mag-insert into ka, E100, so ganyan. Ganyan mag-insert into doon pagka sa backend. Okay? So that's why dito rin sa values, kahit this is a variable, we put a single quote para kasi yung kukunin niya kung ano yung gi-type mo doon sa form. So yung gi-type mo doon sa form plus this single quotes here para we can follow this syntax ni MySQL, no, na maglagay ng single quote. So if you could not relate what I'm saying, you can just run this program and try removing the single quotes here sa values para you will know what I'm saying. Okay? So here, this code here enables users input to be written into the table called employee. So by the way, ito si table employee, I did not create this one in the front end. I created it in the back end. So this is my, ganito kasi sa Mac. So this is the table that I created. So I created it in the MySQL environment. Yan. So this is the table. So TMP ID, TFN, TMN, TLN, TDEP ID, tsaka rank code. Okay. So I created it here, but for the input, I do not input it in the MySQL, but in the form. Later, I will show after I am done explaining. So after the user have entered the record, and after it has been written to the table, okay, so there is a script here para may mag-pop up na message, record successfully created. And then if there is error, you can create another script here, a pop-up message about the error. Okay? So, dito gi-echo ko lang siya, no? Hindi na ako gumawa ng script alert. But you can do it in your own para it will look like nicer also. Okay? So, going back dito sa new employee form, ayan. So, meron ako ditong echo message alert. So, dito ako nag-echo, not here sa save emp, not here, if you notice, because I would like that, again, kung saang page naka-display yung, or yung form, the echo about the response with user's action, doon din siya mag-display yung message alert. Kasi kung diri ka mag-echo, there is kung diri nimo siya i-echo, here nga part, ang may tabo, mag-new page siya or sa top siya sa form mo appeared. It doesn't look good. Or it will create a new page. Or load a new page, I mean. Okay? So any question with this one? May question ba? So again ha, yung mga steps, hilom ang sa walay nag-reply. Nara mo diha class? Nag-abang lang sa demo?
Yes, ma'am.
Sige.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige. So naka-follow ra mo? I hope naka-follow. Okay, good. Sige, I have 20 students present. Sorry kayo ha nga nag-klase ta. But para ni sa future. Na-late kasi sila ga-advisory. Wala kasi mo got submit sa week 6 good. Nabalaka ko ninyo class. Sige. So ayan, so balik ta ha, kung mag-create a program sa PHP, first thing is of course we have to start MySQL doon sa SAMP, i-check kung ano yung password, username password, kung root ba or root without a password or any password that you set sa imuhang MySQL. And then after, kasi kanina sa SIM nakita nyo no, na paulit-ulit na lang yung connection string. So kung paulit-ulit, you will just create a PHP file for that connection string. So dito ang ginamit ko is dbconnect. So yung connection string, yan. Nilagay ko na lang siya dito. So next after that, si new form, new employee form. So this creates a form lang. Ito, this form. Ito na form. Okay, my buttons, save record, saka clear form. So, may iba ring PHP file na di-call na ako diri sa save emp. So again, the reason bakit nag-call ako dito sa new employee form.php kay save emp is because I wouldn't like that my program will load a new page or mag-appear siya sa top. I wouldn't want that. So that's why gi-call na ko siya balik sa self niya. Okay? So so this is just making the UI ha, this one here. This is just making the UI. So dito talaga yung code mo so that users input from the UI will be saved to the table. So in this demo, in this sample program that I have shown, created na yung table doon sa backend dito sa MySQL. Create na ako na siya, manually create doon. Okay? So, kamo na, naman mo yung mga GUI version sa MySQL, no? So, it's fine. Dili na kay ko manguana na class. Basta kay sa project, akong giingon ninyo, it should not be all the way drag and drop. Lisod man kayo ng all the way drag and drop. You have to do coding man jud pod somehow. Okay? And then, so ito na siya class ha, gi-include na si DB Connect. So, I should not see a code in your project and even in your Let's Analyze na paulit-ulit si DB Connect. Ha? Dapat ganito yung process niya, i-call mo lang. So again, ito, part na to here, this is kung ano yung i-input ni user from the form, it is assigned to the PHP variable. So, here naman, ito yung insert into. So, kung ano yung i-input ni user na naka-assign dito sa PHP variable, i-insert into niya, i-save niya dito sa table, which is called employee. So, si employee, again, i-create doon sa MySQL. Okay? So, if there is no error, so here, and the connection is successful, record alert. Record successfully created. Okay, so I will now try this program. So, i-integrate ko lang siya class dito sa so the template is familiar to you, kagaya ito yung sa DQR, but you can have a better version of this one ha. This is not really such a nice kung marami na yung table mo, employee, kasi ang paingnan nato ani class employee, rank, saka pay period. Kabalo na siguro mo hata paingon karong Thursday. Sa Thursday kay yung lab exam nyo sa first lab exam, we will be creating a version of that here in PHP, but database na siya. Okay? So kindly create a better menu design for this one kasi this is just for one entity lang, employee lang. So kung mag-rank code ka pa lang imong isumpay diri no. So, create a better version of this one. Na per entity, when I click on that, example employee, I will be brought to this kind of environment. If I click rank, I will be brought to a page for rank. So that it will not mess, nga parang nakakalat lang lahat ng file management mo. Yung, file management. So, yung pinakita ko kanina, class, add new. So, ito yung form. So, example, 215, but in the real world practice class, much better kung employee ID kay nakaset na lang siya, but this is just a demo. Dapat naka-program na rin yan sa class nga, dili nag-i-input ni user to avoid error in duplication of the primary key. So dapat i-program na lang yan siya. I-set na lang ang value. Mag-script na lang kayo for the primary key. So example, bakit ba si John Lloyd ang aking na So, example, taga CTE si John Lloyd, rank code, associate with professor 3, then save form. So, ito siya class, record successfully created. Okay. Okay? So, if we will check that one in our table, though I have created a program nga mag-search na, but i-demo ko lang rin siya dito. So, bakit ba ako nag-arrow up? Wait, ang gulo ni O, ayan siya, class. Andito na si John Lloyd. E215, John Lloyd E. F. Cruz, CTE, EP3. Okay? So, inserted na si John Lloyd dito. So, from the front end to the back end. And then, I have here search. So, si search naman, si E200, search record. Okay? Ano nga yung si John Lloyd? E215, search records, John Lloyd. So, how is this being programmed? Sige. So, I have here another PHP file. It's called search.emp and search form. So, I created a form. Nag-CSS lang ako dito, class, para mag-center yung form. So, the same thing. This is just for the UI. And then here, gi-include na ko sa search.emp.php para yung input ni user at saka yung output that will be displayed in the same page and within the form. So, here na may search.emp tayo dito. So, the same thing, gi-call lang na ako si DB Connect. So, ayan. So, that's the beauty if you are going to modularize your program. You do not have to repeat your code, you will just call them. But, wala pa ni function, no? Yung, next meeting sa Thursday, with function na, tapos joining of queries tayo. So, dito siya, class, the basis of this search is the employee ID. So, we have here variable PEMP ID. And so, if the user clicks the search rec button, so it will issue the command, select asterisk from employee where TEMP ID. So, ito si TEMP ID. This is the field name from your table employee. Ito siya, class. Yan. Equal to. So, PEMP ID. So, si PEMP ID, ito yung gi-input mo doon sa form. So, again, class, ayaw kalimti ubutang og single quote kay si MySQL, kailangan niya ng single quote to denote it is a string also. So, after that one, we check here kung mayroong laman yung result set. So, si result. So, si result variable holds the result of this command. So, if there is more than one or more than 0 rows here sa result set natin, so it displays this value. So, si variable head, HFN, HMN, until HRC. So, ito yung mga variables for employee ID, first name, middle name, last name, department ID, tsaka rank code. So, ano yung magiging value niya? So, this is from the row in your table. So, this one, kilala na to ni PHP because meron na tayong result set here. Yan. So, kung anong value niya, andun na sa associative array. It is assigned to the associative array. Okay? So, here, TEMP ID goes to head, TFN goes to HFN. Okay? So, else, ID not found. Okay? So, this data here, eto siya, si HID. If you notice, wala siya naka-display dito kay search emp. Doon siya naka-display sa front end, si search form. Ayan, andito siya naka-display sa search form. So, ga-echo ko din ni HFN. Otherwise, class, ayan, mo load na puglaing page or sa top siya mo display. It doesn't look good, no? So, we would like that the result of our search will be displayed in the form. So, kaya gitable na ko siya, class. So, kung gusto mo, nga kato yung gi-search, ba-display po sa ID, then you just have to include here value. So, nilagyan ko lang ng value. So, pasa-pasa lang ni siya, class. From search emp to search form. So that is made possible, no, because of include. Actually, si PHP mas dali mag-program og ingon ani no, passing of values compared in Java. Mas dali use og um, mga properties ni page, mga capabilities ni page here sa PHP. Okay? So gipasa lang niya class. So all the fields here. Ayan. Ana. So this is from Search Imp. So ito sila. Okay? So I hope with this one I was able to give you an idea how to create a program in PHP with a database, what are the things that you need to prepare, and this is different from the SIM kasi si SIM naka front end talaga yon, no? So this one, what I mean is front end programming. Kasi yung creating table, insert into, it's all done in the PHP script. But again, sa let's analyze ninyo, katong create table lang ha, katong create table lang o create database, kindly code it in the front end. Okay? Yeah. Kindly code it in the front end. Create table, create database. Yung dalawa lang, but sa insert into, tsaka sa select, you may not do that one. Kaya ang importante lang man, dili na ko mag-create sa table. Otherwise, maglisod ko na class og check. Unless you follow kung ano talaga yung database name, ano talaga yung table name. But I think giset na ko diri sa let's analyze kasi it's my fear nga baka yung iba they will do all the way back end. So database name class is Sharks Inc. Tapos table name is ranking. Okay? But better talaga if creating table is done in the front end para dili ko maglisod og check ana. Nasabtan ba ko class?
Yes po.
Yes po. How about itong first timer sa PHP MySQL? Kahit paano na bawaan ba ang steps? You know what are the steps and what are the codes in creating a connection, in inserting record, creating database, creating tables, inserting records, and retrieving records. First timers. Unsa may comment sa first timers? 902 si Sheena. Nasabtan Sheena, right? First time ka rin Sheena to create a database in PHP. May delay kasi ito si MS Teams, no? O, sa coding. But how is it, Sheena? Masabtan ra ba? Naka-follow ra ka, Sheena? So, kani akong demo karon ha, kani akong ipakita sa inyo ha. Dili na kay mo mga paani. Yes po, ma'am. Okay, welcome. Dili na kay mo mga paani. Unsa ako magina ko ni program sa PHP kasi I already provide you a startup. Dili man ni siya all the way sa SIM. Kung sa SIM ka, maglabad jud imong ulo, no? Kung dili lang jud ka mag-follow ha. How is it that everything is in the front, no, you input data in the front end, you display data in the front end, and just retrieve it from the back end. Though daghan kaing mga sample programs man available, but of course, you have to research them and try all those concepts. Whereas here, yan, given na siya, ang gawin mo na lang is how to complicate it more. Doon ka na mag-start how to complicate it more. Kasi meron ka ng startup. Okay? So, anyone who can tell me yung mga Carl Jimenteza, si Carl yung tatanungin ko. Carl, ano nga yung steps para mag-create tayo ng program in PHP using MySQL? Ano yung una i-set? At ano yung mga steps? Carl? Hindi po, Carl. Di ka marinig, Carl. Okay. Sige, galo ko daw. Si Maxine. Si World Carl is, Maxine. First time ka rin po, Maxine. Ayan.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how is it, Maxine?
Ma'am,
Alora ba?
yes, ma'am. Follow naman, ma'am.
Okay. So, kaya ra nga to ang let's analyze for the week, no?
Hello, ma'am. Marinig na po.
Yes po. Sige. Carl.
Yung first step po, ma'am, yung sa DB Connect po.
Okay.
To check if na-connect na po yung PHP sa MySQL.
Sige.
Tapos after po nun, pwede ka na po create ng table. Tsaka database.
Database muna din, table.
Yes po.
Before
Tapos,
connection, kailangan may database ka.
yes po, ma'am. Database tsaka table po.
So, you have to start SAMP also yung sa MySQL, ha? Tapos, check mo doon kung ano yung password mo. Kasi minsan, walang password, no? Naka-empty lang. Kagaya sa akin, naka-empty lang tong password ko. Okay, yung iba
Pwede
naglagay
po
na.
mag-ask about sa let's analyze namin, ma'am. Sa
Sige po.
Yung gawin namin, ma'am, is exactly yung sa ginawa mo po. Pero about lang din sa ranking.
Yes
Clarify.
po. Yes po. That's correct. So, create ka lang dito ng isang table. Konti lang yung fields dito, Carl. Ano lang, rank code, rank, tsaka rate per hour. Kasi, yung let's analyze nyo sa next week, may joining of queries na yon. Okay? So, di ba remember yung sa payroll ninyo na second lab exam? I am thinking if that's gonna be your lab exam, but I would like you to kasi to do your project. Ito deliverable to. Malaking trabaho din kasi siya, no. So that's why I opted na lang. Supposed to be yung lab exam nyo is yung payroll ng first lab exam na CSV yun, di ba? Magiging MySQL na yun. But since malaking trabaho itong deliverable 2 ninyo, I should say, so that's the reason why let's analyze na lang nako siya to the following week. Okay? You can do it in advance para yung week 8 nyo all the way, na lang, project development. Okay? So sa Friday, konti lang yung mga questions ko. Might be 30 lang siguro questions about functions, include file, and then database. So your lecture exam will be on Friday. Wala na yung ibang question, Carl. Yun lang.
Yes po, ma'am. At saka ma'am, yung mga files po, ma'am, is i-upload mo po, ma'am, yung example mo po.
Alin, yung ngayon?
Yes po, ma'am.
Sige, kung gusto nyo, I will upload. Actually,
para guide na din po, ma'am.
yes po. I agree. So para di kayo masyadong mga no? Tapos you can move forward kaagad. Second exam? Wala pa man second exam. Wala pa ba nako na display? Second exam, Henry?
Hello, ma'am. Wala pa, ma'am.
Ay, sige, Henry, bakit di ko siya na
Di na ako makita ang Kasi wala ko makakuha na
naka-enter
kwarta.
screen kasi ko, Henry. Mamaya i-check ko, Henry, ha, kasi bawal mag-show ng scores ng classmate mo si Henry. Na recorded kasi tayo. I-follow up mo lang ako dito, Henry, ha. Sorry. Hindi ko siya na Bakit? To, Henry, yung lecture, yung 33 questions?
Yes, ma'am. O katong coding something. Ay, gusto lang may bala nun kung pasado ba akong score ato.
Kasi ang na-remember ko, Henry, kasi naka-record na ako, no? Ang na-remember ko dyan, na-regrade ko na yan. But I will check again. I will just talk in the chat box. Gawa pala ako ng kasi marami na kayo ngayon, no? Gagawa pala ako ng, anong tawag dito? GC in the LMS. Paki-check in this part. Kasi sa akin, nako makita na naman yung chat ng iba, wag na nga lang. Makita ba ninyo na? Yeah, makita niyo no. Basta kay naay groups dito on top of your private messages. Naay groups dito, tapos pangitaon ninyo ang IT9L nga GC para kung naatay presentation or namoy mga questions, pwede na mo do sa GC. Okay, usahin ako yung mga urgent announcement sa GC na lang ko. In my other sections gaingon ana ko. Okay? Kasi sigig presentation dito. So para ining present to sa project, dili pareha. If you remember our first presentation, wala pa nahuman ang gakarin kaga-present, itong deliverable 1. Naana ang next presenter kasi by time lang siya. Nya usahay manggod kay hinay ang net sa presenter mo nang dili nato siya ma-achieve tong specific time allocated. Okay, so maghimo na lang ko og GC. Please check ha, deliverable 2. Tapos si deliverable 2, please naka-PDF siya para dali lang ko mag-check. Tapos the name is, ito yung name. Every one of you ha, kada member ng group kailangan mag-submit ng PDF file. Dili si team leader lang. Every one of you. So ito yung file name, group name underscore, imuhang last name rani siya para makita nako tag-asa ka nga group. Okay? So group name underscore last name, that is the file name of your deliverable 2. So para lihokon gyud ninyo siya, this is your second lab exam. Okay? Second lab exam ni siya. So katong mga corrections na ako sa inyo ha sa deliverable 1. Yes po.
Sumpay na ba ang kadong deliverable 1 sa deliverable?
Yes po. Kung ano yung mga corrections ko doon sa deliverable 1, ilagay nyo sa deliverable 2.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Kani bitaw, practice na siya paingon sa inyong capstone, no? Nag-capstone ba mo ron? May uban nga naay nabili nga major, ginaalaw lang kasi na siya kung isa lang pud ka buok. So practice na siya class, ingon ana na gud dito sa inyong capstone.
Excuse me, ma'am. March
Yes,
4 din ang deadline na ma'am.
Sige, pwede ko ni i-extend og March sa Sunday. Pwede sa Sunday. Para ma-check man gud nako, maka-comment ko, mag-comment kasi ko ani pagkahuman niyo og submit.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Kasi dili man ko magpa-present ani, unlike this one, akong comment ani online, no? So dili kasi dili man ko magpa-present ani. So I will just comment in the comment section. I will just write mga kung ano yung suggestions ko in the comment section. Okay, and then sa project template na pa to yung results and discussion. So gamay lang man tong results and discussion class. And then para maanad mo nga you do with this kind of document. Then after presentation na sa week 9 kung ano unsa gyud yung schedule class mo, ano gyud mo avail gyud mo kay I will repeat daghan kay mga presenters niya. Presentation week bi anang week 9. Kung naaga ni unta toy mahuman og sayo, week 8 pa lang, Friday, I will accommodate if you are done, then you can have your early vacation. So wala na tay class, wala na tay lecture exam. Kanina lang inyong lab exam presentation. Mao na lang.
Pwede na present, ma'am.
Ha?
Pwede na mag-present.
Oo, kung human na nimo ha, ako ang mga tung nasa template, kindly check the template. Week 8, Friday, pwede na magpa-present ko. Just message me in the LMS, ha?
Sige, ma'am.
Sige po. Kung saan yung nasa mga chat box?
Nangutaan ako kay Henry, ma'am, kung pwede na ba mag-present.
Makatrauma ang capstone. Mogit po na ikuan sa IT, no? Kasi yung sa capstone talaga. Sa Teams na lang, ma'am, para mo notif sa among desktop. Unsa nang sa Teams, Daniel?
Ay, dari lang mag-chat na mo. Same atong gibuhat na mo sa OJT, ma'am. Dari arm gud to. So every time na naay
Dili
mag-present.
pang member tanan diri good. Mao lagi ni akong problema. Dili member tanan.
Abi na og member na tanan, ma'am, gigamit nila ilahang university account.
Gi-announce na biya na many times pero dili jud ang uban, grabe.
Masayon unta diri, oh.
Yeah, correct. Kahit nabi tay upload sa, di ba ang recording naara tanan diri.
Yes, ma'am, dili na need agtuon pa sa LMS, ma'am.
I do not know kung say problema sa uban nga nung dili nila makaya nga diri na lang sa MS Teams.
Ma'am, nayuban man bugat ang Teams na
Web app
application.
lang mo? Kahit web app lang?
Pwede man sa lang, sa browser lang.
Oo, web lang mo. Dili naman yung kinahanglan i-install pagka naka-web lang mo. Oo, nindot gud kaayo kung diri lang ta kay yan naalang na diri tanan tapos na diri ang mga files. Ato recording diri mo paingon lang mo na siya diretso diri Okay? Ana. Ha? Si okay na ta. Sorry kayo ha, nagklase ko og holiday. One reason is dugay kasi nila gi-announce nga holiday di ay hapon na. So nakapuan ako niya. I look at your week 6 tapos gitan-aw na ko tong sa YouTube, sa everything else. Hala, pila lang ka views. Hala, wala gyud ni sila gatan-aw. Man to. Kani 9 views lang. So meaning wala niyo tan-awa, meaning wala mo gahimog activity. Kula, what happened to these people? Okay? So kaya ingon ko kung naay mag-attend, then I will conduct classes online. Pag wala, di mag-record session na lang ko. Mas nindot kasi mag-attend mo para sa ano na may mga concerns sa inyo, ano yung concerns, ma-raise niyo yung concerns. So actually, kahit pa nagklase ko karon, it's not really nga gusto ko nga i-busy mo, but because I'm just concerned with our class. Henry, you're raising your hand.
Ma'am, hello ma'am.
Yes po.
Unsay balita sa ma'am kung mag-limited face-to-face ta karong March?
Ay, sus ko. Salamat sa question, Henry. Henry. Alert level 1 at Henry, no?
Yes po ma'am, so excited ko kay nanay baon in kaso.
Kami, unahan ta kag Henry sa amo nga part. Kami face to face na mi Henry starting tomorrow. So mag-adto na gud mi sa classroom kahit wala mo. Dayon, kaya nga because of that baka 8:30 na ta makasugod sa ato ang class ha. Tanaw lang ako or 8:15 kasi wa pa ko kabalo kung sa setup nila dito kasi ako naibawan more than one professor in one classroom. So ako pa na siyang ikuan. So baka sa Thursday, I could not start immediately 8 o'clock ha. Baka 8:15 or 8:30. Mag-post lang ko sa ato ang LMS kung unsay sugod. Tan-awon lang niyo to sa synchronous meeting link. Di ko ka-sure kung unsa. Dayon, kanay mong question, last memo nga akong naibawan Henry, end sana akong recording Henry kay makasabad niya ako. Dili man illegal akong giingon but baka ma-broadcast nga kulang ako ang information. So stop recording lang nako ha.